Hi, I'm David Penn, Research Analyst with Finovate. Thank you for joining us here at FinovateFall 2021. Joining me today is Ryan Ruff. He is the Head of Fintech Relationships with ASA Technologies. Thank you for joining us, Ryan.
Thank you.
Yes. I thought before we could just starting off, you could tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do for the company.
Yeah, so I'm Ryan Ruff. I've been in personal finance and fintech kind of businesses for probably the last 15 years now.
Okay.
And so I've also been doing a lot of stuff on the entrepreneurial space. So, and for right now for ASA, my role is helping fintechs to understand the value of the ASA platform, how they can partner with financial institutions, and helping them to be successful in that journey.
Sure. So I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about some of the pain points that your company helps other companies resolve.
Yeah, so one of the things that we've noticed is that everyone understands banking as a service, right? So, and that really what that is it's a relationship between one fintech and one financial institution. And there's a lot of risk there. So what from the financial institution side, they're asking the question, is this fintech really going to succeed? Do they have the capital? What's the risk here? Are they PCI compliant, SOC 2 compliant? There's a lot of risk in forming that relationship. So what we're doing is we're doing a many-to-many contractual agreement to where one financial institution, when they enter into a partnership, they're entering into a partnership with all of the fintechs. So if one of them fails, it's not that big of a deal because there's more coming and there's others on the platform, and so it takes away that risk of partnering. And then vice versa on the other side, the fintechs, when they get onto our platform, they're now partnering with all of the financial institutions on the ASA platform, so they can go and find the ones that are most conducive to their clients and send all their clients to that institution.
No, that's really interesting work that ASA is doing in that regard. There's so much conversation over the past few years about partnerships and the importance of partnerships and what does it take to make a partnership work. And it's really interesting to hear some of the different ways that ASA works to sort of make sure that those partnerships work for both parties involved.
Yeah, and the other thing that's important, I mean, the whole technology piece, it's important that it's secure, that it's being done in a compliant way. So that's very important, and we work on that. But also it's important that the revenue models work for both parties as well. So interesting things like if a fintech has a lead for a banking service like a home loan or a car loan or a student loan, they can send that back to the ASA platform, and then where the customer is actually a client for the institution, that institution gets to do that loan, and then the referral fee goes back to the fintech that provided the referral. So both sides are making money there, and they're able to stay in their core competencies and really work at scaling their core value proposition.
Wow, that's really an interesting model. You hear so much about the ideas of marketplaces and just the idea of if you get these two entities in a room, that's all it needs to happen. And it's clear from some of the things you're talking about that there's so much more that needs to happen to make sure that those partnerships work for both parties, or the synergies are there, and in some respects to make it easier for both parties to enter into it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And so I'm also the founder of another fintech, and I tried to partner with banks, and it was really hard. One of the things I realized is that what makes a fintech special is that it's a niche application. It's something that's going to help a specific user. Ironically, when you try to go partner with a financial institution, they're looking at it and saying, I don't know if this is going to affect a big enough segment of our user base, so I don't know if it's worth doing the partnership.
Wow.
So the very thing that makes your fintech special is what makes it hard to partner. So in this model, now the financial institution, they're not just getting this one fintech that gets one sliver, they're getting all the fintechs that are going to hit a much wider base collectively. So it makes sense for both parties in that when you're doing it multiple to multiple.
Yeah, that really is an interesting model and an interesting way of understanding, again, all that has to go into that partnership relationship. I'm curious, given the past year that we've had, where so much has been done remote, so much has been done digitally and so forth, what kind of challenges has that presented to the work that you do with your company?
Well, honestly, it hasn't. It's something that's made the need for what we're doing even greater, because people are changing what they need out of a bank. They're changing what they need out of a fintech because our world is changing. We're trying to come into a new normal right now that a lot of people don't understand what what is the future going to look like? So we've got a platform where people can build those user experiences really quickly, get them to scale and get them to market quicker than ever before. So really this brings an opportunity for our institutions and for our fintechs to be able to collaborate together quickly to build those experiences that people are going to want in this new environment that we've all been thrown into.
Sure. I have to admit, the more I think about the sort of service that you provide, to some degree, do you believe that this model in general, sort of the future of how partnerships are going to happen, that people are going to be needing companies like ASA to help sort of put them together?
Absolutely. And so when we think about it, everyone's familiar with the term open banking, right? In open banking, what we see that as just opening up APIs, getting fintechs and financial institutions to be able to talk to each other. But that doesn't really address the business model side, right? And a lot of fintechs are starting to try to become banks themselves. They don't understand regulatory compliance. They don't understand loan to deposit ratios. They get in there and they're like, man, this is not what I didn't sign up to do this, right? So what we're doing right here is we're creating what we're calling collaborative banking, where it's open banking that meets partnerships in a way where both the fintechs and the financial institutions are able to generate revenue faster, where 1 + 1 = 3.
Fascinating. I'm curious, why did the company decide to make their appearance here at FinovateFall? What was it about FinovateFall that you thought that you could achieve?
Well, FinovateFall, Finovate in and of itself, it's the place to be when you want to try to get fintechs and financial institutions talking to each other. So we wanted to come here and let people know that, hey, we are building collaborative banking. And collaborative banking is the future, and here's why, is because it's going to help the fintechs to be able to double down on their core competency, and it's going to be able to help the financial institutions gain the partnerships that they need with fintechs to actually be viable in tomorrow's environment.
Right. I'm curious, Finovate, very much a demo-heavy sort of event. How difficult or what were the challenges in demonstrating the platform?
It is difficult for us because what we're building is so new. Nobody's building a platform where it's multiple institutions and multiple fintechs all creating in a platform together. So it was challenging, but honestly, being able to visually show that on stage is something that it helps people make it click in their mind when they actually see the use cases going through in the platform. So it was a golden opportunity for us.
Interesting. Have you been able to pick up much of the feedback, some of the responses from some of the attendees about what they thought about what they saw?
Absolutely. And so down in the expo hall, I think we've been able to talk with just about everyone, and it's just been great to get that feedback and make sure our message is getting across in the right way. And I had asked a lot of people, I said, hey, tell me back what you understood. And so we're able to really get to the point of understanding that they are getting our message and they're understanding it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm also curious about, given the fact that you work with financial institutions, you work with fintechs, I don't know if you had much of an opportunity to sort of see some of the other demos and what some of the other companies are out here. Were there any companies or any demonstrations that you saw that sort of caught your eye in terms of these are the sorts of companies, either, you don't have to name names, but any of the sorts of companies that you said, these are the kind of folks we'd love to see become more of a part of what we do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially for us, because we're working with both sides, I don't know where our bigger opportunity was. I think we have at least 3 fintechs that are going to be on our platform that are going to be super exciting to the financial institutions. And just this morning I had a financial institution I was talking to that needed a solution for a problem that one of the fintechs was solving. And I said, hey, look, we can get you guys together on our platform. We'll solve the technology piece of getting you guys together, and you guys can get your business arrangement going. So it's collaborations happening in real time here. It's been awesome.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, it's been really excellent talking with you, getting to know a lot more about what ASA does. That idea of collaborative banking, I think, is something that people are going to really be able to get their heads around, maybe even more than open banking, especially as they understand as an evolution and maybe sort of fitting in some of the missing pieces maybe of what open banking promises, but what collaborative banking can actually deliver.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were thinking maybe we call this banking 2.0, but no, collaborative banking, we think, is the future, where fintechs are able to build those beautiful user experiences and then partner back with the financial institutions who understand the compliance issues and are able to actually execute on the loans that the fintechs are finding.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for being a part of FinovateFall.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that we're going to be hearing a lot more from ASA in the future.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us as well.